academic Mo Lovett and broadcaster Pete Price. Hello again to you both. And Mo, we're kicking off with you, I think, an article that you pulled out from the Telegraph. You know, strikes have disrupted so much recently for so many people, and it seems even New Year could be hit as well.
Yeah, the article says that most of us are likely to be spending New Year's Eve at home. It's worth noting, though, Sally, that there aren't actually any strikes planned for New Year's Eve, but it's more this sort of threat of disruption and the I can't say the word, the issues that we've had in December that have led people to cancel their going out on New Year's Eve plans. So in December itself, 1 in 3 pub and restaurant bookings were cancelled. On the plus side, sales of fizzy wine, Prosecco and all the rest of it have gone up, and Asda have said that their sales have gone up twice what they were last year. So good news for the supermarkets, not so good news for retail. But, you know, as I say, there aren't any strikes, so if people want to be spontaneous and give the retail sector a bit of a bump in December, that would be great, because usually December, you know, sees pubs and restaurants with 120 to 130% increase along the rest of the year. And this year it just looks like any old month. So good news if you want to stay indoors and celebrate with family and neighbours. Not so good news for the pubs and restaurants, I'm afraid.
Pete, it looks like you want to add something there. How have strikes impacted Merseyside, the north where you are? And are you having a night in? It looks like you could whip us up a good cocktail with what you've got behind you there.
No, I'm not having a night in. I'm going out for dinner to the art school. I've got to tell you, though, the other problem is taxi firms can't get drivers. They can't get drivers. So even though the strikes are on, people are struggling over getting taxis as well. So to get anywhere is a nightmare now, because a lot of people through the pandemic went and changed their jobs. No taxi drivers. Big problem as well.
Gosh, that is interesting. And speaking of shortages, Pete, you pulled out this article in the Mail. Now, you know, we've been talking about it a lot recently, the staffing shortage in the NHS. And this article talks about the eye-watering fees being charged by agencies.
$500 million a year, and that money is on top of the wages. And of course, a lot of staff are also leaving and becoming agency staff because they earn more money. And it really is a minefield when you think of it, $500 million on top of the wages. The NHS is falling apart. It needs restructuring from the top to the bottom, and somebody has got to get a grip of this properly. Maybe bring in doctors, maybe bring in anybody, but we've got to do it. But also the public. We've got to know what we want from the NHS and how much are we prepared to pay. And don't say to me while you're listening now, oh, we've paid in all our life. That covers nothing. I had to have a private operation because I couldn't get one. I saw the bills, so I know what sort of money it costs to have injections, to have the bed in the hospital, etc. We have got to rethink this. And also, bringing staff in from other countries is really quite cruel, because the other countries need the staff as well. And they're talking about our staff going to Australia, to New Zealand. It is a minefield, but it's got to be put together. But we also have got to start paying for it properly.
Yeah, and just further to what Pete's been saying there, Mo, this article you've pulled out in the Eye, that 2/3 of junior doctors are looking for other jobs, trying to leave the NHS. It's very worrying, isn't it?
It is very worrying, and I suppose on a positive note, at least we are opening up the conversation about the NHS, because for too long I think people have not wanted to talk about it and what a behemoth it is and how it can be restructured. So that's on the positive side. But as you say, 2/3 of junior doctors are actively looking at how they can get out, with one doctor quoted as saying him and his colleagues are looking to get out before the system collapses. And in a survey of 4,000 junior doctors, almost 79% had often thought about quitting. Now, I suppose one caveat is this is a survey from the British Medical Association, who are the trade union for junior doctors, and there will be a strike ballot on the 9th of January. So there's some PR probably involved in this too. But I don't really doubt the story myself, and I think a lot of us who followed this narrative know that there is, you know, serious discontent in the NHS. NHS. And, you know, it would be a brave but a noble politician, I think, that would actually look at that and look at reform in the system. As Pete says, we know the public now are having that conversation, and I think the politicians sort of need to be, you know, get behind that and be aware that this is a big problem, because we do value the NHS, we do value that free at the point of contact service that we get or we're getting. So yes, hopefully some brave politician in the new year will really start to get to grips with this issue.
Yeah, certainly that is definitely what it feels like is needed. Now, the Telegraph, Pete, you pulled out this story about high streets. They've had a bit of a revival with the train strikes.
They have indeed. A lot of people have been staying locally and shopping and getting near to where they live. So local shops and local stores are doing really well out of this. The cities are still busy. We're up on last year anyway. We had the sales before Christmas, which were very good. I don't know what worries me about these sales, I've got to be honest, is it all going to be money on the credit cards, and are they going to have major financial problems in the middle of the year? But I will say to everybody, stop buying online. Keep our high streets alive. Go and say hello to people, the shopkeepers. Go and buy. Keep offline.
Quite right. And moving on to The Guardian, Mo, a rather special reunion for Christmas. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so one family gets to reunite this Christmas. It's in a family of bison. So originally there was a herd of 4, the matriarch and her cubs, her calves, I should say, who were rewilded into the Kent woodlands, and they've been there since the summer, but they were missing their bull, who was stuck in Germany. So on Christmas Eve, the bull was brought from Germany to the UK and reunited with his family as part of this rewilding project from the Wildwood Trust and Kent Wildlife Trust. Now, British bison haven't been seen roaming the countryside for 6,000 years, so it's quite an exciting project. And the article says that on Christmas Eve, the group sniffed and they nuzzled and they ate together for the first time as a family. So there you go. Happy Christmas story.
A lovely story to end on. Mo Lovett and Pete Price, a pleasure as always. Thank you both so much. Merry Christmas. Still to come on Sky News Breakfast, we'll have more on the arrests made after the fatal shooting in Merseyside. More on that next.